Islam Makhachev didn't slip into the MMA scene quietly. The moment he appeared in the UFC, insiders remarked this man could be the next unstoppable force. Yet to most casual fans, he remained a mystery. Dagestan had just produced Khabib Nurmagomedov, undefeated, untouchable, and idolized. Could another phenom emerge from that mountainous region so soon, carrying a similar aura of dominance? Those questions intensified once Makhachev displayed near effortless control over respected fighters. Coaches at American Kickboxing Academy, where Khabib also trained, whispered that Makhachev's dedication bordered on obsessive. He drilled wrestling transitions for hours, perfected his timing on the feet, and adopted a strict lifestyle that left no room for recklessness. Observers were intrigued. Was he simply replicating Khabib's blueprint? Or would he surpass even that lofty legacy? Fans debated whether Makhachev's calm nature concealed a deeper passion, or if he was a stoic athlete programmed to win at any cost. Either way, each victory stirred anticipation. From local circuits in Dagestan to the bright lights of the UFC, Makhachev showed he could dispatch opponents with a dispassionate efficiency rarely seen. People began to wonder if lightning really could strike twice in Dagestan, forging yet another unstoppable champion in less than a decade. The North Caucasus region of Dagestan is notorious for producing extraordinary wrestlers and grapplers. Its rugged terrain demands tenacity just to traverse daily life. Young athletes grow up running uphill paths at daybreak, practicing takedowns on well-worn mats, and sparring in cramped gyms that smell of sweat and determination. This environment shaped not only their bodies but their minds. Discipline, humility, and resilience became second nature. Makhachev's upbringing mirrored that tradition. Starting at a young age, he experienced intense drills under watchful coaches. Each session tested his willpower. Locals saw him as a special talent who fused raw strength with precise techniques. Nothing flashy, but everything purposeful. If you wanted to gauge the seriousness of Dagestani fighters, you just had to see the lines of children wrestling before they could even read properly. In Makhachev's case, he also absorbed the region's cultural emphasis on respect. You never boast unnecessarily, and you let performance speak for itself. That relentless ethic made him stand out in local tournaments. Older wrestlers recall a teenager who never backed down, even if it meant absorbing some bruises in training. By the time he caught the attention of scouts and fight managers, Makhachev had already internalized a warrior code that scoffs at shortcuts. In Dagestan, you don't rely on luck. You rely on a daily routine of punishing, repetitive practice. When Makhachev eventually signed with the UFC, many in Dagestan believed he was just another unstoppable product of their combat lineage. Khabib, boasting a pristine 29-0 record, redefined dominance in the UFC lightweight division. Training alongside him at American Kickboxing Academy placed Makhachev squarely under the high-wattage spotlight. Fans labeled him Mini Khabib, expecting a carbon copy who would chain wrestling opponents into oblivion. Some wrote him off as a sidekick overshadowed by an unbeaten champion's aura. Inside the gym, however, coaches like Javier Mendez saw a different dynamic. Makhachev shared similarities with Khabib: formidable wrestling, suffocating top control, and a no-nonsense approach, but also had distinct advantages. Rumors spread that Makhachev's striking angles were sharper, that his transitions flowed more naturally, and that he sometimes matched or surpassed Khabib in their countless sparring rounds. But he always publicly deferred to Khabib's mentorship, showing a humble respect that fans from Dagestan admired. Critics tried to tarnish Makhachev's image, claiming he rode Khabib's coattails without proving himself independently. They questioned whether he'd crumble once he faced adversity, but those closer to him suggested he thrived under Khabib's guidance. They formed a brotherly bond, united by late Abdullah Nurmagomedov's vision of creating not just a champion, but a dynasty. Each time Makhachev fought, the storyline revolved around whether he could live up to Khabib's standard, and perhaps even exceed it. Despite his aura, Makhachev tasted defeat sooner than many expected. At UFC 192, Adriano Martin shocked viewers by landing a single counterpunch that toppled Makhachev. The referee stepped in quickly, awarding Martins the upset victory by first-round knockout. Overnight, skeptics swarmed social media. Is that it for the Dagestani hype train? They claimed all the talk of unstoppable wrestling meant nothing if he couldn't take a punch. Makhachev didn't hide from the setback. He acknowledged the sting of a knockout loss and doubled down on refining his defense and striking precision. Instead of blaming camp issues or unfair stoppages, he adopted a humble acceptance. Meanwhile, Martins failed to capitalize on that victory and drifted out of the UFC. This contrast led fans to see Makhachev's approach. He used defeat as a springboard, not a tombstone. Some said the knockout might be the best thing that happened to him. It exposed a flaw, forced him to address it, and hardened his mental game. Gone was the assumption that he was untouchable. Now he trained as if any opponent could end his night with a single clean strike. His subsequent performances showed tighter stand-up, more careful entries, and a sharpened awareness of distance. The criticism that he was a frail-chinned grappler faded each time he proved otherwise. With high-level success often came rumors and controversies, and Makhachev was no exception. While he strung together victories after the Martins loss, whispers arose about doping issues. Early in his UFC run, a flagged sample turned into a swirling rumor mill. Officials eventually cleared him, citing tainted supplements and insufficient evidence for sanctions, but the gossip stuck. Detractors implied there must be a reason for his rapid improvement. Some corners of the internet pushed conspiracy theories about IV rehydration, claiming Makhachev illegally boosted his post-weigh-in recovery. Nothing concrete materialized, yet the allegations persisted. Makhachev's supporters chalked it up to jealousy or fear, especially as top-ranked lightweights seemed reluctant to share the cage with him. Title contenders with big names often dodged the matchup, citing scheduling conflicts or low financial incentive. Fans saw it differently. Why fight a low-profile but high-risk Dagestani specialist? These controversies only magnified Makhachev's mystique. Each time he stepped into the octagon, the conversation extended beyond his skill. Was he benefiting from an unfair advantage, or just so disciplined that others couldn't keep up? The UFC never handed out penalties, and no evidence surfaced that validated the rumors. But in a sport hungry for drama, speculation thrived. Regardless of controversies, Makhachev's rise gathered steam. He dismantled Gleison Tibau in under a minute, a fighter who once pushed Khabib to a razor-close decision. He outgrappled Kajan Johnson, overcame tough tests like Arman Tsarukyan, and completely smothered formidable strikers like Drew Dober. Each victory highlighted a methodical style: secure the takedown, pin the opponent, and submit or dominate with ground and pound. Observers noted Makhachev's composure. He never showed panic. Even if an opponent threatened with a submission attempt, he calmly maneuvered out of danger and regained control. This collected demeanor was reminiscent of Khabib, but Makhachev brought his own flair, slightly more fluid footwork, sharper left hands, and a willingness to end fights quickly when opportunities arose. The UFC recognized the wave of excitement and booked him against Dan Hooker, a fearless lightweight who engaged in wars against elite names. Many predicted a lengthy struggle, but Makhachev finished Hooker with a Kimura in the first round. But fans clamored for a title shot. Commentators, who once labeled him overrated, acknowledged his unstoppable grappling. Whenever experts discussed the lightweight division, Makhachev's name was no longer a question mark. It was a looming storm. Charles do Bronx Oliveira had become a finishing machine, capturing the UFC lightweight championship and taking out top contenders with creative striking and lethal submissions. Observers wondered if Makhachev's wrestling could withstand Oliveira's record-setting jiu-jitsu. Leading up to the fight, Oliveira radiated confidence. He claimed he would turn Makhachev's wrestling into a disadvantage, reversing positions and landing his own submissions. Once they fought, it became clear Makhachev had no fear of Oliveira's guard. He carefully passed into advantageous spots, avoided traps, and even stung Oliveira with crisp striking. When Oliveira tried to scramble, Makhachev capitalized and locked up a submission, forcing do Bronx to tap. The moment it ended, fans realized a seismic shift had occurred. Makhachev wasn't just adept at wrestling. He could outsubmit arguably the best submission artist in lightweight history. Some pinned Oliveira's loss on a tough weight cut, or the accumulated wear from his recent battles. Others believe Makhachev executed a perfect game plan. Either way, the belt changed hands. Makhachev, once an afterthought in Khabib's shadow, now held the UFC title. Critiques about him being untested vanished. He had toppled a champion on a legendary run. Dagestan had a new king to celebrate. Alexander Volkanovski, reigning featherweight champion and widely regarded as the pound-for-pound best, decided to chase immortality by moving up to lightweight and challenging Makhachev. Many believe Volkanovski's speed, striking creativity, and iron will might disrupt Makhachev's grounded game. Others insisted Makhachev's size and grappling fundamentals would grind down the smaller man. Their first meeting was a nail-biter. Makhachev scored crucial takedowns and displayed top control, while Volkanovski showcased impressive defense and landed bursts of sharp punches. The fight went to a close decision in Makhachev's favor, igniting fierce debates online. Did Volkanovski do enough to steal the belt? Was the judging biased toward grappling control? A rematch followed, with Makhachev adjusting his approach for a more definitive finish. This time he locked in a stoppage, leaving little doubt about who ruled the lightweight division. The result further cemented Makhachev's status as an adaptive champion who could refine his strategy against even the best of the best. Volkanovski, despite the losses, earned respect for pushing Makhachev harder than most. Fans clamored for a potential trilogy, but for now, the lightweight belt remained with the Dagestani champion. With Volkanovski behind him, attention turned to Dustin the Diamond Poirier, a fan favorite known for his boxing, resilience, and willingness to engage in brawls. Poirier had toppled luminaires like Conor McGregor and Max Holloway. If anyone could handle intense pressure, many argued it was Poirier. Yet some pointed to Khabib's successful submission of Poirier as a clue that Makhachev might replicate that outcome. Beyond Poirier, other contenders lurk. Justin Gaethje, with destructive leg kicks and knockout power, Michael Chandler, a compact wrestler with explosive bursts, and Beneil Dariush, a well-rounded fighter with excellent grappling IQ. Each offers a unique puzzle for Makhachev, who seemed more than ready to test himself. The question is whether any of them can withstand his top pressure long enough to land their own offense. Meanwhile, watchers speculate about a possible super fight at welterweight. Can Makhachev emulate Conor McGregor's quest for dual belts? He's shown interest in big challenges, but also prioritized consolidating his reign at 155. For now, the rest of the lightweight division stands on alert, knowing Makhachev's blend of wrestling, submissions, and composure will be tough to counter. Rumors still nag Makhachev's career. The doping whispers haven't fully disappeared. Some corners of social media cling to claims of hidden rehydration tricks, or speculation that Dagestani fighters use exotic training methods that skirt the rules. Critics say it's impossible to be so dominant without cutting corners, yet the UFC and Athletic Commission have never penalized Makhachev for violations. Another subplot involves Khabib's mentorship. After retiring, Khabib took on a coaching role, but then stepped back to focus on personal obligations. Pundits wondering if losing Khabib at cageside would weaken Makhachev. So far, the champion's performance suggests otherwise. Although Khabib's presence remains a spiritual anchor, Makhachev fights with the confidence of someone who owns his skill set independently. Makhachev's success is part of a larger phenomenon, the influx of Dagestani fighters in top MMA promotions. Wrestling and Sambo form the bedrock of their style, honed by grueling daily routines in mountainous terrain. Rising prospects like Islam Nurmagomedov, Shamil Gasmatov, and others replicate the methodical approach that breaks an opponent's will. Observers note how many of these athletes share the same stoic demeanor, focused on seizing victory rather than chasing spotlight drama. This Dagestani invasion challenges the rest of the MMA world to adapt. Fighters now invest in specialized wrestling coaches, more advanced takedown defense, and grappling escapes to avoid being pinned. but as we've seen, it's easier said than done. The wave from Dagestan keeps rolling, with Makhachev as its figurehead. Whether fans appreciate or dislike the grinding style, results speak loudly. The division may never be the same. What sets Makhachev apart isn't just winning, it's how his victories leave foes changed. Leeson Tibau, once renowned for stifling Khabib, was finished in seconds. Dan Hooker, who endured wars with top contenders, crumbled quickly. Charles Oliveira, an all-time submission leader, tapped to Makhachev's pressure. And Alexander Volkanovski, a pound-for-pound great, found himself controlled and eventually finished in a rematch. Before entering the cage with Makhachev, they brimmed with confidence, certain they'd crack his code. Afterward, many admitted they'd never felt such suffocating grappling. Some took long breaks to reevaluate strategy, while others admitted Makhachev's calm efficiency made them question their entire approach. He not only beat opponents, he remolded their perspective on what's possible in an MMA bout. Islam Makhachev's story underscores the potency of discipline and single-minded focus in MMA. From the austere training halls of Dagestan to the apex of the UFC, he's proved that relentless drilling and composure can dethrone even the most dangerous rivals. He's dealt with controversies, overshadowing comparisons to Khabib, and a surprising early defeat. Yet each challenge only sharpened his resolve. Now perched at the top of the lightweight division, Makhachev's horizon seemed boundless. Could Dustin Poirier, or another challenger, reveal a hidden flaw? Will he eventually pursue welterweight gold, or aim to set a record for lightweight title defenses? The unpredictability of MMA leaves every door open. One thing is certain, whenever someone steps into the octagon with Makhachev, they face a fighter who transforms confidence into doubt, leaving them a starkly different competitor after the final bell. In many ways, Makhachev embodies the next evolution of Dagestani grappling excellence, a redefining mixture of wrestling, calm brutality, and mental toughness. Critics wait for cracks to appear, but so far each successive performance cements his reputation as the champion who redefines careers. As the UFC future unfolds, fans can only speculate how much longer this calm juggernaut will reign, rewriting the expectations of what it means to be unstoppable. The final chapters of his legacy are yet to be written, but one truth is clear: the before and after effect of facing Islam Makhachev is a revelation that few ever forget.